is over. Now we have got some issues back in Hope with Oromis unfortunately being in custody of the Royal Guard and of Hope.
Let me just say, Lee called it.
A lot of us have. A lot of us saw this coming. It was only a matter of time before Icarus got too damn close to the sun. Anyway.
I mean, I feel like our first downfall was trying to make a plan in D&D.
Step 1, fail. Yep.
Yeah.
That's the only way to succeed.
Fell enough times,
you can
you'll
only go
eventually
down
find
so
the right
far.
answer.
Yeah, eventually you'll start going up.
Well, eventually the DM will pity you enough. Either that or kill your character. This is Yonder we're talking about, so.
Speaking of, so Molly Mort, you wanted to take a short rest so that you could gain the ability to scry after about an hour after Fion made you a nice vegan meal, etc.
Correct.
Wonderful. So, when you scry, you were saying, Lee?
I'm just curious if Molly is vegan or vegetarian.
She's vegetarian.
There's the difference.
Okay, I like cheese.
Yeah, some of it has to do with eating animal byproducts, and then there's some exclusionary elements on top of that, eating things that took the place of animal byproducts, like eating fake cheese encourages cheese, all kinds of stuff like that. Anyway, so, and also there's wearing leather, but, druids. Anyway, so, Ormus, if you would please, make another death saving throw. There's the possibility that you'll roll a 20 and wake up before they help you, and I just want to give you that chance.
There's also the possibility of 1.
Yeah, but that won't kill him. He rolled a 13, I think, last time, so.
Hopefully it does cooperate. There we go. 12.
12? Alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just unconscious for a bit.
Okay.
I'm sure it'll be fine. So, Molly Mort, when you scry, I'm assuming you just scry on Ormus?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you doing this alone, or are you doing group vision, through the bowl, trying to share the view with everyone?
I'm probably just sitting at the table and, like, where Fion is in the... It's up to him if he wants to actually focus on it with me, but I'm in the same room as him.
What I think I'll do, just because it adds a fun story element, is that depending on the way that you're scrying, if you do it like seance style, like basically holding hands and all looking in, then they too will be able to see through the crystal ball / platter / whatever. But most of the time, anyway. So basically, I'm just allowing that option. Although technically, I think only you are supposed to be able to see. But
technically, yeah, I think you're right.
Yes, but I find it endlessly entertaining to be able to basically, you turn the TV on, anyone can watch it.
Yeah, and I mean, even if only I could see it, I could still relay it just fine. So really, is there really a point to only me being able to see?
That's up to you. If you wanted it so that you could look at something but not share that information, there could be instances where you want to deceive someone with it, or you're trying to look at something without other people to know that you're looking at something.
All right.
Remember, the eye you have can also be used for scrying. So you could, without a lot of activity and without putting out a bowl and applying water and things, you could covertly, quietly, on your own, just look through the lens, essentially. So there are times when, like that one, you couldn't conceivably show someone looking through it at the same time. Anyway.
Yeah.
We can run it however you want. If you want to relay it, you can, or you can let them look through the pool. I'm fine with that as well.
I like the idea that somebody else can look into the pool and see it.
All right. Fion, will you also be looking into the pool?
Yeah.
Okay. As you look through the pool and Molly Mort is stirring it, focusing, trying to scry on Oromis, you start to see some light forming in the pool and it coalesces into the swirls, and you start to see details around the edges as the sort of vignette focus comes in. You see the lines of the wall as they get closer and closer in, and all of a sudden you see a butt ass naked, passed out, beat up, and bloody Oromis on the floor of a jail cell.
Oh
Woo!
no! Way.
Why is he naked?
I know, right?
Oh,
Uh,
I'm not okay with this.
Well, I
Oh, yeah,
imagine,
Avert the eyes.
I imagine the guards were probably like, well, if his hat can do that, what can his clothes do?
Yeah.
basically they're taking every precaution. You can see that his hands are chained, and they seem to be in. Well, okay. Basically, his hands. He's not going to be able to make a fist currently. It's akin to you know how Chinese finger traps and sort of things sort of control. They're used for holding people in. It's sort of like panini presses on his hands. While Bakata had specially made gauntlets to contain them, they seem to have just applied splints to his hands. He can't. He's just got sandwiched wood and wraps on his hands.
I mean, hey, if it works.
Yeah.
So at best, semantic casting is highly limited.
At best, and anything that needs a material component, unless it is very well hidden, yeah, no.
Or very specifically something that you can actually get, like a drop of blood.
Entirely possible, yes. And
Or
there are a lot of things that are possible. You were saying, Molly Mort?
I said, or water, or sand.
Yeah, I mean there are things, but what I'm saying is that he has no skill focus. He has no weapons. He has been removed. His equipment has been removed. But as you scry in, you can also hear some talking.
Couldn't they have given him a loincloth?
No, there is no family friendliness here. It is just they just dropped him in, and he's just splayed out.
So he's just like leg spread eagle for some reason?
Well, no, I mean not in that sort of a way, but it looks like they just dragged him in, and
Weird fantasy is, man. I'm not gonna judge.
no, I mean it looks like they just dragged him in. If you really want the specifics on it, his legs are together, he's on his back, and his hands are sort of overlapping torso. And he's just sort of, they dragged him in by his arms and then secured him and then just left him.
Ooh, dragging somebody into a stone cell naked. I bet he is hurting something fierce after getting the shit out of him. And then
I'm sure those are the wounds he's worried about. Yes.
Yes, of the many, I'm sure it's the scrapes on his backside. There are likely several wounds that he will be concerned about.
just say.
Okay, I understand. Perfectly reasonable. So, you hear talking, as I said, and if you switch the focus of the eye, because you've got, this little invisible eye that you can use to focus through some distance. And as you look around, you can see a one-eyed man talking to someone that you recognized, that you do in fact recognize. What?
Not Panini.
Oh, I was
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
he's the one that invented the panini press that is currently enveloping his hands.
But yes, that is Penny's press. It is one of his inventions, I
That's
guess you
so
could.
funny that you described it as being a panini press and Panny actually made it.
I know, right? This is a fun little play on words. We have fun. But yes, you can see that it is Penny that is being discussed, or rather is being talked with.
I'll
And
be honest, I forgot that his name was actually Panny and not Panini.
yeah, his name is
Wow.
Penny.
Rude.
Yeah. But you can see those two are discussing and speaking. They are speaking in common, and essentially, the one-eyed man is describing the circumstances of greetings, Aldrin.
Oh,
Greetings.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon, everyone.
So, Alendrin, just to catch you up very quickly, Mollymort was just scrying on Oromis, discovered him naked in a jail cell, and not in a good way, I guess, and was able to see that there were people talking in there, specifically a one-eyed man that you all saw before, and he is talking with Panny that you all had also met before. We hadn't described what they had said yet, and of course, we'll get to you eventually, but
Yeah.
that's where we are. So you can hear the one-eyed man describing the tale of how they came up, essentially like, yeah, and then he was someone else, and he came in here and he killed Jeff, which is a shame. You don't remember Jeff. Jeff was a really nice. Oh yeah, I remember.
Jeff was engaged, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, Jeff. Anyway,
Yeah.
Penny makes sure that he'll be sending flowers on behalf of the king and queen to Jeff's family, and the one-eyed man seems satisfied. But Penny says that he believes he recognizes this one, and that he thinks that they were here, some sort of merchants. They were trying to set up some kind of a deal with tourism. He shakes his head and he says, but I never trusted them from the start. And he says that I'm going to empower you on behalf of the king to get to the bottom of this. I suspect we have some kind of conspiracy in our midst. And the one-eyed man nods. And you all are still just watching in the kitchen. Mollymort and Fion, how are you dealing with this information and the view?
I'm not going to shout, but because, shouting on mic, but Fion just, son of a bitch.
That'll certainly get Real's attention. Do you let him watch?
Well,
He comes over and asks, what in the bowl has disturbed you?
he's naked, though.
yeah, Molly's covered her eyes, like, as soon as she saw Ormus was naked. And she grabs Fion's hand. What should we do?
Fion doesn't really say anything. He just shakes his head and kind of drags his hand down his face in frustration and walks out on the porch.
Ooh.
I hold the bowl out to Real.
Real looks at it and he says, "What is this?" And he's like turning the bowl and turning his head, trying to get an idea of the handle of what's going on as he sort of listens in a bit. So
I scryed on Ormus and he's been apprehended and he's been beaten up real bad, and for some reason he's naked and
oh no!
me.
I told you all we should have killed them all. Much easier, much easier.
That is true. He has a good point.
He does have a point.
Mm-hmm. So, Oromis, from the time that they stopped scrying, and or rather previously stopped scrying, and they took a short rest so that Mollymort could maybe scry again, it was a couple of minutes after you were first brought in, and it wasn't long after that you attempted to escape. And in your escaping, you found yourself to be unconscious. Well, you didn't really find yourself, you were made very simply unconscious. So, because
escaping.
Yes, while attempting to escape. So, you have been unconscious nearly at the end of the scribe for about an hour, which qualifies as a short rest. You can, if you want, you can spend some hit dice, and you can find yourself conscious again. Or you can just not, although I think Oromis's will would be such that he would want to wake up.
Yeah. Try
Yeah.
to reassess himself, figure out what the fuck's going on.
Okay. You can spend as many hit dice as you like, and let me know how many hit points you get back as you become conscious again. You should have
Stabilize,
like all your hit points. Yeah, you're stable. No.
10d8s.
You gotta
No.
spend them all.
No, I'm just looking to see how many I have.
Okay, might not be a bad idea to spend them all.
Yeah, we never use them anyway.
Hmm. Well, because you guys barely get in fights.
Yeah.
Boom. 44, that's almost half.
Okay. You find yourself with 44 hit points. It's really cold. You hear some talking, and it's kind of bright in here.
So to recollect the story that we told everybody of merchants, I don't quite remember that.
So, the last time you were here, rather the first time you showed up, you met with the queen because you were sent with a letter of introduction from presumably an agent of hers in the city of Tyrannia. A fellow by the name of Edwin, if I recall correctly.
Mm.
Yes, I believe so.
Yes, and in that time, you met with the king. And your cover that you all chose was that because you were from the city of Bacata that has good tourism, especially because of an artifact called the Heart of Tiamat, you came here and you told the king that you would create for him a tourist trap. You would create a fake Heart of Bahamut, and you would make people want to come here and look at it. And so he commissioned you to create essentially a work of art, or perhaps a fake mythos, however you like, to help with tourism. So he commissioned you to make that. And that was your original guise of being here. You have since, of course, done nothing to help with tourism in the area, but whatever. But that is when Tanny met you the first time, and that is how he recollects you all. It has been a couple of weeks now, not too long, but a while, and he never liked you guys, as you know.
Like
We
mute.
never liked him
Yeah,
either.
feeling was mutual, yeah.
So you wake up unconscious, from unconsciousness on the floor of the same exact cell. They were kind enough to remove Jeff, at least. But they also seem to have removed everything else. You are equipmentless, with the exception of shackles and these panty presses on your hands that are wrapped in such a way that makes it that you can barely move you can't really move your digits or anything. You can and make some hollow wooden noises, but that's about it. So, what would you like to do?
Don't really think that there'd be anything that I could do. No components, can't cast spells, can't escape.
Yeah, but you're essentially laying there and kind of getting a feel for it. Do you want to move around? Do you want to look? Do you want to even alert anyone that you're conscious yet?
I'll get up and look around, but in such a way that it won't really alert anyone. I'm not trying to be stealthy, just trying to be silent, you know? Kelvin.
Oh, he's awake, says the one-eyed man.
Yes. Took a
Did you
nice
have
nap.
a nice rest? He's
Just said I took a nice nap. Yes, thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
He nods and takes a long draw on his cigar, kind of puffs it out a little bit, and he says, "So, you still not remember who you are?"
course I remember who I am.
Good, good, good. Who are you again? And I'll add, Molly Mort, you can see and hear this as well.
I'm gonna go downstairs for this because I'm trying to be upstairs for the pizza, but the kiddos.
Look, man, we
Yeah,
all
treat
want to
you
be
guys.
upstairs for the pizza. We understand.
Yes. I'll straight up tell him. Well, my name's Oromis. Hey, you see, I'm elf. The name wasn't, didn't give away the ears were.
You can see that Penny, not being accustomed to interrogations, says, "What were you doing on the castle?" And the one-eyed man is kind of putting up a hand like, "I got this." But he still asks it.
I said, "Oh, Penny, good to see you. How have you been?"
He looks at you with very narrow eyes, and the one-eyed man says to him, "Why don't you go back to work? I'll handle this." And Penny gives a slight bow and walks out silently, staring at you
Bye.
until he leaves eye contact.
I was genuinely curious as to how he was, but okay.
So, your name is Aramis?
Oromis.
Oromis, right?
Yes.
The strange
Elven.
elvish name. Doesn't sound like the elvish name. Whatever, that's fine. I'm not
being
gonna judge.
locked down here all the time. Can't blame you.
Mm-hmm. He nods. And he says, you need anything? You comfortable? You good?
I'm naked, which is very uncomfortable, but
He nods and he says,
sure,
yeah,
I'll live.
sorry about that. We can't really trust you anymore,
Well, yeah, no, can't blame you. Like I said,
Yeah, he says, so, what were you doing up there anyway? You were up there, right? You were on top of the
yeah,
castle there?
I was. I honestly, I was trying to get peace of mind. Ever since
Peace
I
of
was a little
mind.
boy, that was my go-to spot. I'd always go up on the roof of the highest area that I could, get nice fresh air, look at the stars, peaceful, nobody to bother you,
Ah, so what are you doing in our little town? Are you, working for somebody, or?
I don't know if you've been, well, I don't know if anyone's told you. Me and my team group, we were commissioned by the king
Bards,
to
right?
make,
Playing music?
no. I mean, if you want the story, don't interrupt, sir. Goodness.
Sorry. Go on.
No, we were commissioned to create a fake heart of Muhammad to get tourists to come into the land. And it's been some weeks since we had come and made good on that deal. And so we were coming through to close our end of the bargain.
He nods. He says, and that's it?
Yeah, that's it.
You went up there to relax, and you're just here to help the king, and that's it?
We're here to be good on our word. That's
He
what we're doing.
nods.
And like I
He
said,
says,
I go up there to clear my mind. Sometimes it helps me be creative. Sometimes it's just relaxing. I don't know if you have, well, looking at your cigar, I'm sure that's what you use to relax.
he says, so why didn't you just say that before?
Well, once I saw the Royal Guards, I kind of knew I fucked up. Not gonna lie. And I tried to get out quietly. And once they shot me down, I still tried to get out quietly. Then you guys dragged me here, still tried to get out quietly. But, nobody knowing that I was ever there. and then it just kind of got out of hand.
Got out of hand.
Yeah,
You murdered
sorry.
2 people.
I know.
It got out of hand.
Look, I know that it's bad, and I do humbly apologize.
He nods
But-
and he says, "Is there anyone you want us to?
Anyone you want to what?
Is there anyone you want us to talk to on your behalf?"
You could always call on a favor from your lawyer or patron.
Well, see, I was thinking I can go two ways: contact you guys, or contact the queen. Or the king.
Mollymort is still watching us, by the way.
Remember, if you contact us,
Although
us.
it'll be over soon.
Just don't implicate anyone.
Yeah, I mean you can if you want, but remember, it'll involve us in this,
Yeah.
which is fine.
Well, I can call on you guys if you think it's the best choice. I just don't
Oromis,
want to.
you're naked and alone in a cell. Just do whatever makes sense to you right now. Don't worry about them.
True, go for it.
I feel like it's been a couple of minutes at least, and Fion has come back in, kind of calmed down a little bit, and is continuing to watch.
Well, you can get the rest of my team that were here to do good on the deal as well.
He nods and he says, "All right, where can I find them?"
You guys are at the house, right?
I don't.
Well,
Are we?
or Oromis, you know that they were at the house. Yeah, you don't know where they are now.
Okay. I'll tell them the last time that I saw them before all this happened. We had a place to stay at blank, 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 blank.
All right,
I
you
don't
kind of
exactly
give him
remember where it is.
you kind of give him some landmarks, and he nods a little bit, and he says, "All right, well, I'll go let him know. Anything you want before we shut the door for the night and let you get some rest?"
Can I just get some clothes, please?
He says, "Yeah, sure, no problem, no problem."
I feel like
And he,
More
I'm
size of-
gonna incite that.
no need. No, he's not getting you clothes.
Didn't think so.
He walks out of the room, and then he comes back in and he puts his head back and he says, "Oh yeah, by the way, unless there's anything else you want to tell me, we're gonna schedule your trial for the morning. Okay?"
That's the okay.
He nods, gives you a smile and a wave, and heads back out.
Oh Lord. I don't know if we're gonna be able to kill the king now.
Just
So-
kill him at the trial.
Well, they know that I'm probably the one trying to do something. You guys, however,
We're part of your team.
you guys have a little bit of time before
Well, like,
trial. I mean, I could be like, hey, look, see, I was innocent.
look, we're part of this. We're trying to kill the king too, is what I think they're gonna think. They're probably gonna send armed guards to go and capture the rest of the party.
But you all did just see Oromis give fairly accurate descriptions to the one-eyed man. That he told you where to find you all, and you heard trials tomorrow, and the scrying basically ended almost as soon as he walked away. What would you all like to do?
Mollymort is definitely pacing the room.
They technically can't confirm nor deny that
Well,
we're here
we'll
to kill the king.
let them
I
do
did-
their
Okay,
their
yeah,
thing.
sorry.
Let them
I'm
do
gonna go
their
back
thing.
up.
All right, get some pizza.
Ooh, I want pizza.
So Mollymort is pacing.
Lee wants pizza.
I think Rio will say, "Now can we kill them all?"
Unfortunately, no, that would just make things worse. We can't take out an entire kingdom's worth of guards.
He rolls his eyes.
We do still have a job to do.
Yeah, if Real wants to take care of all the dragons, go ahead. Yeah, good luck, Real. Good luck.
that's what I was about to say. Is like, if I see him roll his eyes, I will explain to him the depth of the situation, and that these aren't just people; these are dragons and dragonborn.
All of them?
A lot of them.
A lot, yeah, a lot of them are. We know of at least one in the king that works directly for the king himself. So, I would imagine.
I've always wanted to.
Good luck. Actually, he might do pretty well against dragon.
I'm gonna give him a handful of dragon scales.
I mean,
Big ones or little ones?
Little ones.
you're still
Alright.
like, giving out like pieces of that guy's son after we know the truth. That's pretty fucked up.
He looks at them and kind of bites one a little bit. Blue?
Blue.
He nods. Puts it back on the table.
My armor.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And he says, if you can beat them, surely I can beat
We beat you. One of us beat you.
them. You're not there, Lee.
I know, but I'm so mad at him. Not at you, but at Real.
Real,
Anyway.
Real, if you seriously think that, then I don't know what to say to you, but I can tell you right now it's not true. All of us, 5 of us plus city guard, barely took that thing down.
And another dragon.
And yeah, there's no way they have multiple dragons. I would assume that they have multiple dragons and dragonborn at that, which, from what we've seen, are incredible warriors and casters. So it's not a one-person job. I can guarantee you that much. As far as
say that in front of Jacob.
I'm sorry.
Make sure to say that in front of Jacob so you can get that little bit of a confidence boost.
What was I saying? Oh, as far as what I think we should do now, and I kind of turn my head towards Molly. I mean, my first instinct is that we should get the hell out of here, never leave a trace, but we can't just leave Oromis, and I feel like in this case, just vanishing would implicate more involvement in something sinister than we would like to implicate ourselves with.
I do think that we should what if we know that they're coming. So what if we go out and kind of meet them on the way there?
Well, I feel like that also implicates that we knew that they were coming, which would lead to them thinking we have more powerful magic. Because, to my knowledge, what you do with that bowl or then those mirrors is not an easy thing to do. And to me, if they know that we can do that, that means that they know that we can do at least that level of thing. Which I'm assuming would make them assume that we have violent things of that level.
Well, turning yourself in this case is not going to do you any good.
They already have kind of seen what Oromis can do to some extent.
Honestly, I'd play dumb. Be like, I don't know what he's up to.
Fion, I'm not a good liar.
You don't have to say anything, Molly. You can just go to bed unless they call us. Because at this point, it's pretty late, right?
Yeah, it's fairly late it's evening for sure.
Yeah.
It's before midnight still, though.
Yeah, I was imagining like 8, 9 o'clock.
Can I just be a bear or something? I think I'd be more comfortable like that.
Well, I don't think that having a bear in the house would be helping at all. Yeah. Also, literally earlier today, there was someone marked with my description having pushed a guard off a roof, so I don't. Oh, fuck, this is all going to hell.
You?
I can't answer the door, but obviously they know we're here. He told them that we're here. Uh,
Disguise somehow?
I mean, I have a spell, but it only lasts for an hour.
I mean, I honestly, my
We've
thought.
had more than one hat. Sorry. Didn't interrupt.
I mean, I'm not even there, so that's fair.
Yeah, we have more than one hat. I wasn't the only one that got it.
I
That's
don't
true.
have-
I'm just thinking that if you guys don't, if you guys act like you know, I mean, honestly, the only way I can see that could possibly go like almost well is playing dumb, and that's just all I can think of. That like the only thing that won't necessarily immediately implicate you is if you pretend that you don't know what he's been up to.
I mean,
Like,
we could say and kind of corroborate his story because we know exactly what his story is, so we can kind of corroborate it in a way.
Yeah, like, I feel like what we should say if questioned is, oh, yeah, he went out for a walk to clear his head earlier. We don't know what he did after he left.
Yeah.
He just said he was going to clear his head.
we know he's
And-
always a major sociopath. Anyway,
And from earlier on too, you guys know me as I have been on multiple routes. Just chilling, relaxing, and everything.
Well, I
I
mean,
wasn't 100% lying, and you guys can use that to tell the truth.
I don't think killing several guards you're gonna get out of this just by saying you were out to clear your head and then happen to murder several guards.
yeah, like, I don't see this going any other way than Oromis at the very least getting a life sentence. Probably executed.
I mean, like, if I went outside right now and went for a walk and killed 3 people along the way, I don't think that would go over well with the police.
And not just 3 people, 3 policemen.
Yeah. And, like, I'm sorry, I was just going for a walk and they started attacking me and I don't know why.
Okay, so we're not gonna get him off the hook for this, but
Yeah, just tell them you don't know me.
well, what I was going to say, we can get him the sentenced for. We're probably gonna break him out of jail or whatever, but we can just get him sentenced to just killing 2 policemen, hopefully without any suspicion as to his, other stuff.
Well, the issue with that is that, sorry, my words are failing me all of a sudden. There's a lot of implications that we know more and are doing more with that, and also like we have to be here for a while, so like breaking him out of prison isn't really an option because we'd have to basically hit and run if we were going to break him out of prison, get the fuck out of town, you know.
Then we would definitely be implicit.
I mean, again, we do have the hat of disguises, so
Yeah, but doesn't it only last an hour as well?
Nope.
It's at will.
Okay.
It can be done basically as many times as you want. The spell itself will only last really an hour, but you can just keep renewing it. As long as you're focused on disguise and you're wearing the hat, you will be disguised.
Well, I guess the main question is there any downtime to it? Like, can I cast it, like, within the last 10 seconds of the first one? Like, cast a spell while the second one is fading. Will there be any time in between castings where I am Fion rather than your average human guy?
Well, again, it doesn't exactly. It's not like you kind of have to keep casting it. As long as you've got the hat, it will disguise you. As long as you're focusing on a disguise. And you don't even really have to concentrate on it too much. It's a magic item. It just does it. Let me read the hat. Let me read the text for it. Hat of disguise, 5e. And I could be wrong. Let's see. While wearing this hat, you can use an action to cast the disguise self spell from an at will. The spell ends if the hat is removed. I would assume that it lasts an hour, but because you can just keep casting it without limit, it'll just keep happening. So you'll just keep being disguised. And it does require attunement.
Yeah, which would take an hour, which I feel like we don't have an hour. Or can you attune during a short rest, or does it take a full long rest?
Let me double check. I think it actually can only take I think it's as little as 10 minutes, but let me be sure.
I thought it was like half an hour.
Well, let's find out.
Well, I mean, this being said, Fion will say that I honestly don't think I can. I don't think we should get away with trying. We would get away with trying that, because.
Okay, it takes an entire short rest, so it would take about an hour.
I mean,
all I can think is cut your losses.
As much as it sucks, I think Oromis is done for. The best we can do is, let them know what we know is that he said he was going out for a walk to clear his head, and he never came back.
You guys might be able to save him, but I don't think that, I don't know. That's the thing, is all I can think of is, I know you definitely will be implicit in whatever they think that he was trying to do. You probably will be anyway, so I honestly can't see a right answer here. But, I'm sure there's a way you could save him later. I just don't know if you could do it legally.
Yeah, that's the main thing. As much as it sucks, I don't think there's anything we can do for Oromis at this point.
Alright, you discuss this for several minutes, waiting, presumably in anticipation, for a knock at the door. A knock that does arrive. Who answers it? Now, Arini will come out and... Oh, you're saying?
I was gonna say, can I pray real quick and be like, Arata? I could really use that favor right now.
Absolutely. You
There
do
we go.
so.
This is how we do it.
Yeah.
Favors from fucking crazy ass wizards.
Yes. You make that prayer. The door has been knocked upon. Arini will come out, presumably to go answer the door and see you all, of course.
Fion will stand up and make a stop motion with his hand. Look over at Zach? Is that his name? Real.
Real.
Look at
Zilra is the necromancer.
And he'll look at Real, make a motion with his hand that says, "Go sit in a back room," stay out of sight. And he'll approach to answer the door.
Molly will panic, look around, and for a second, and not turn into a bear, but turn into a cat instead.
Okay. Real disappears from view as he goes back into the house, or to the back of the house. Arini asks, "What's going on? What's wrong?"
Fion just shakes his head and opens the door.
On the other side, you can see a relatively short human, one-eyed, as a patch over one eye, and he's puffing a narrow kind of a green cigar. And when you open the door, he says, "I'm sorry to disturb you so late. I was wondering if there was an elf by the name of Oromis here."
No. He was staying here, but earlier he said he was going for a walk to clear his head. He hasn't come back since.
Oh, so he is staying here. He's just not here right now.
That's correct.
I see. He nods.
May I ask?
And he said, "Go on."
May I ask why you're here questioning about Oromis?
Oh, I was just looking for him. That's all. That's okay. I don't have to come in to wait. Is this a hostel of some kind? He looks around and he sees Arini there, and he waves. And she nervously waves back.
Not a hostile per se. It's just we were commissioned for some royal work, and there were some friends of royalty that said we could stay here, versus so we wouldn't have to pay out the ass for the inn. You know what I mean?
He nods. He says, "Yeah, there's been a lot of strange outsiders lately." And he kind of scratches his chin. And he says, "So, and you did you use the disguise self on yourself, or?"
No, I'm straight up Fion right now.
Okay, yeah, he kind of looks you up and down, and he says, "Not to be rude, but what are you?"
Oh, well, long story short, I'm a Fearbold. That's pretty much all I can tell you. I was separated from my clan pretty young, about 17, 18. It's been...
He makes a facial expression that could be easily translated as, like, okay, whatever. With his eyes mostly, and nods, and puts his cigar back into his teeth. And he says, "So, how long has Aramis been gone?"
If I had to make a guess, I'd say 3, 4 hours. Well, I would say however long it's been since, we headed out of the house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been... it's been a good maybe 2 hours. 2 or 3 hours.
Well, 2, 3 hours, I would guess.
He do that a lot?
Yeah, he likes to sit on rooftops and look at the stars and think for some reason. I don't know, I don't really get it.
It's funny you say that. We had a report earlier this night of somebody on somebody's roof. It's strange. That's really weird. And he scratches his head and he says, "You know what was really weird? They said it was somebody that looked like you. You wouldn't know why they would say that, right? Is there another one of you guys around?"
By you guys, you mean Fearbold?
Yeah, furblocks, whatever. Or excuse me, I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
No, I understand. Well, the unfortunate truth as to why I think that would be is, I favor hunting. I like the woods. I came in from a hunt earlier this afternoon. As you can see, I have some scars. I'm different. My best guess is somebody saw me walking home and, oh, he's a monster.
He nods and he says, "All right, I see. So you went out hunting the same time Armus went out for a walk, and then you were walking home, and he was on top of a roof, and they thought that you were the one on top of the roof."
I don't know all of that. Like I said, that was just my best guess as to why somebody would say it was me or someone who looked like me.
He nods and he says, "All right. You said that Armus went out for a walk, and you went out hunting, but you didn't see him?"
We didn't leave at the same time. I left this morning. I only got back maybe an hour before he left.
Oh, I see. So it wasn't you then that was on top of the roof or by the roof?
No, sir.
I completely forgot that you guys were in the same place at the same time.
Yeah.
So
he says, he scratches his chin and he says, that's really weird because see this fella, he swears that he saw somebody like you and that there was somebody on his roof. And you say that your friend Ormus goes up on roofs a lot, and that you were also out, but you weren't out at the same time? Definitely wasn't you?
No, sir. Definitely was not me.
Are there a lot of these Furbolgs is around?
Well, again, long story short, my clan was kind of wiped out, so I doubt it.
He nods and he says, but just by some chance, another one just happens to be in the city?
I mean, like I said, I stick out. I'm sure somebody just got it in their head that, oh, he's a monster, surely he's doing something wrong. I mean, you know
He
how people's
nods.
memories are. People make shit up all the time.
He nods and he says, yeah. Hey, you wouldn't be willing to come back down to the headquarters there just so that the people can see us, that they can be sure that it wasn't you that they actually saw?
No, sir, I don't mind that at all.
Good. Let's go take a walk then. Any other friends anymore you want to bring along, or how about you, Miss? Arini is like not making eye contact, standing awkwardly still, and she shakes her head. And he nods.
No, everybody else who was staying here was out, getting groceries, doing things before the shops closed.
He nods, and he kind of backs away from the door and motions for you to, step out and walk ahead of him.
As I walk forward, I pull out a cigar. May I? One of my own, of course.
He nods, and he says, well, I would be an hypocrite if I said no, but I'd like to offer you a word of advice, though.
And what would that be, sir?
Cornbread. And as he yells cornbread, a whole bunch of guards start swarming out from the street and running up with pikes out, coming towards you. Looks to be about maybe 8 of them. And he says, don't move or it'll just be worse.
I don't really get, and I put my hands up slowly in a surrender position. I don't really get what's going on here, but I mean, okay.
He says, well, if you were just going out for a walk and you weren't doing anything bad and you're not making this at all, then it'll all be fine and you'll be able to go home in no time.
Where's Naladrin when we need one?
I know, right?
Here's Aldrin when you need him to defeat an army. Yeah.
The guards
Defeating an
basically. Some of the guards continue to keep you at Pike's End, and others sort of get behind you to sort of move you further out to the street. And the one-eyed man goes inside with 2 more guards, and you can see them, Molly Mort. And he goes to Arini and he says, "Are you okay, miss? Did they hurt you at all?" And she's like shaking visibly, and she says that they're telling the truth. They're just here. They're my guests. And he nods, and he kind of lifts up her eyelids a little bit to look into her eyes. She seems just so frightened with fear.
Make sure she's not charmed.
And he says, "Miss, do you know what a charm spell is?" and she insists that she's not charmed. And he says, "Well, that's okay. We're gonna take care of it." And he begins to escort her out. And he's looking around and he sees the cat. Molly Moore, did you become an unusual cat or a very stereotypical cat?
She's a pretty standard cat. She's like one of
Now,
those orange cats.
All right.
would this be something that Molly would do?
That's yeah. Like on instinct, did you become a stealth tabby, or did you?
Well,
That's.
she's an orange cat with the standard heart on her head.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And she's extremely bristled right now.
Mm-hmm. You can see as the one-eyed man continues to look through the house, and he gets into one, and he sees Mika in the rocking chair, and he goes, "Oh, excuse me, miss. Is there anyone else in here?" And without turning around, Mika says, "No, I'm all alone." And he nods and looks around the room a little bit more and leaves and continues to search the house. Molly Mort, do you stay put in the sort of main common room, or what do you do?
She's going to look for the best place that a cat would hide. Up
There,
on top of a shelf or something.
yeah, there's quite a few places that you can get. There are lots of high shelves, and there's lots of low sort of cubbyhole area types that you're able to secure yourself away from prying eyes easily enough. As the house is seemingly searched, you can see the next person brought out is Zilra, and she's being typical Zilra, essentially. Um, like, hands off of me, what are you doing? Those bones are mine, stop it, kind of things, which is creepy. But anyway, everyone is escorted out, with the exception of Mika, and Molinwort, you can tell that Real also wasn't escorted out. But the rest of the guards, the rest of the guards and the one-eyed man step out. And Fion, have you been calm this whole time with multiple guards with pikes basically on you?
Yeah, I mean, I imagine I've probably been trained for this shit, having spent like 35, 40 years in a secret, black ops organization.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They escort you slowly back towards towards essentially what you know to be the sort of rural quarter of the city, within the innermost walls of the city proper, towards across a large courtyard towards the guard building, essentially a low, sprawling construction that seems that they just kept building little bits and pieces as they needed it. No real science or logic to any of it, just built up. Anyway, but you are taken to this place. You're not asked a single question along the way. Irini is like trying to not cry. They have actually gagged Zilra. Well, not gagged, but basically
Got a
gagged.
mouth on her.
Yeah. She just wouldn't stop talking and insisting that they, leave her bones alone. And they just find this too unusual. Molly Mort, do you stay in the house?
Molly would briefly look around, see if she could.
Sorry, could you say that again?
Molly would briefly look around and see if she can find Real.
Real will present himself after you enter in. You're surprised at how well he was able to hide in a dark room.
I just imagine you see two eyes open from a shadow.
Yeah.
No, that's Fion.
Real's not too far off, but yeah, he will present himself to you.
I am still a cat.
Indeed, and he immediately goes to like kneel down and very carefully pick you up and pet you, and he says, "Did they hurt you, little kitty?"
Molly will not allow that. She will growl as soon as he comes near her.
He will kind of react back a bit and be surprised.
She will hiss at him, turn and walk away, and do that look over her shoulder like that cats do, like, "Are you coming or not?" And then she'll walk out to go stop the car.
I can't believe you hissed at Real while he was being sweet.
Real just kind of pulls himself together and makes himself stern against the world once again and heads out to follow
hurt him
you.
so badly.
Never again. Never again. Anyway.
He's rejected by a cat. Oh, the poor man. My heart goes out to him.
I feel like even a cat would be tense and not accepting of affection.
Oh, of course.
Case.
But the poor guy needs comfort.
I would like to say, before we get too far, Fion will look at the one-eyed man and tell him, I do not mean this as a threat. I am armed and am willing to relinquish my weapons to you if it makes you feel safer.
And he says, "Yeah, we'll get to that. Don't worry.
Yes, sir.
Nothing to worry about, right? You're just a bunch of artists, right?
Yes, sir.
Bunch of well-armed hunting artists."
I mean, you gotta protect yourself from the bandits when you're on the road, right?
He nods. He says, "There certainly are a lot of bandits," and
I know, what a world we live in.
he says, "Yeah, a dangerous world."
I'm willing to bet he's never been outside of Hope.
It's possible.
This arc. We're gonna have the legal battle arc.
I did not want this. You brought it on yourselves. Anyway,
Phoenix radar.
speaking of, so you all are heading towards that. But Aladrin, out on the muddy
Yes.
sea, on a ship of your fresh taking, you had gone below to take a long rest.
Yes.
Okay. In your trance state, do you let yourself have any dreams, or do you just try and stay empty?
If they come, they come. I won't fight against them,
That's
but
fair.
I don't go out and try and seek them or force them to happen.
Mm-hmm. That's completely reasonable. But you're able to sort of keep your focus. I think at various points you have different flashes of seeing this massive shape of the Freya in the distance, and no matter how much you try and push the ship forward, it just doesn't seem to get there. And at the same time, it's continuing to loom bigger and bigger and bigger. Something that is exciting but frightening, but also so far off but unattainable.
Yeah.
Anyway, several hours later, you finish your meditation, your trancing.
Mhm.
The ship is still a rockin'. Seems to be sailing along somewhat. It's at least moving. What
Mhm.
would you like to do?
I'm going to go up and find the crew.
Okay. You can see it looks to be very few still on board.
Mhm.
Both those that were killed by you or those that jumped overboard of their own volition. Everyone
Yeah.
else here seems to be the same ones that you had before, although you don't see your dwarves that you brought with you, but whatever. Dwarf crew is a dwarf crew.
Yeah.
But you can find them. They seem to be on deck, just sailing along, doing their thing.
So these are all new dwarves. These aren't dwarves from Bakata.
These seem to be, or rather, these are sailors that were hired and are with Morningstar, either
Mhm.
directly in their employ or possibly um, pressed volunteers or
Mhm.
working as contractors, akin to the dwarves that you brought with you, who themselves were also former employees of Morningstar.
Yeah. I'm going to talk with them and see. I'm basically going to get an idea of why they're working for Morningstar. Or why they worked for Morningstar.
Money, bub. Yeah.
Was this the only job you could get?
No, but it pays well.
Do you know what Morningstar is planning?
One of them in particular that you're discussing with, shakes her head. None of our business. We sail from there to there, and then probably sail back.
So you didn't see them summon Tiamat in Verbenville?
Who? What?
They summoned Tiamat in Verbenville.
And he
The
shakes
man
his
they're
head.
they're following in
Tricks and nonsense.
in what experience me and my friends know is apparently now wed to Tiamat.
I wouldn't know anything about that. None of my business.
Yeah, I'm not saying it is, but this is. I gesture to like the ocean around us. We kind of live on this
Completely empty ocean.
Yeah,
Horizon to horizon, nothing around here.
we live here on this plane, and Morningstar intends to use Tiamat to take it over.
Well, I wouldn't know about that. As far as I can tell, you're a lot worse than anything else I've seen.
Well, that's because I'm trying to stop Tiamat. I'm trying to stop Morningstar. And to be honest,
He says, "What good is that if you kill us all? Doesn't matter. What's the difference?" He shrugs. He says, "If Tiamat Morningstar want to give me a paycheck and feed my grandkids, but you want to kill me, why should I side with you over them?"
Because Tiamat is going to eat your grandkids. Tiamat's
He
going to
shakes his head and he says, Tiamat was bad for the world, and that's why she's dead. But if she comes back, and if she's on the side of Morningstar, and if she's with the dwarves, I seem to remember Tiamat was quite good for the humans.
The humans that are where, again?
The humans that are about to be nowhere.
Exactly. Tiamat was good for them, and see what that got them? Nothing.
He said that was only because the dwarves and the elves worked together to take them out. Humans weren't good enough, but if Tiamat's on the side of the dwarves now, nothing will ever stop us.
So, what you're saying is you don't care what happens to everyone else as long as you're okay.
He looks to some of the others, and they all sort of nod.
So, I point to one of the random crewmen. If Tiamat told him to stab you in your sleep, you wouldn't be upset.
That hasn't happened. You're the only one doing stabbing around.
I mean, yeah, but you also tried to stab me.
After you killed a whole bunch of people, you nutbag.
I'm the nutbag for trying to stop Tiamat?
You're the nutbag for murdering a whole bunch of people. No Tiamat on this boat.
Yeah, but these are also people that are, at this moment, sailing to Hope to kill more dragons and to kill humans, innocent people.
Yeah, humans, dragons, they're not innocent. They enslaved you and me, brother. We should be united against them. You're an elf too. They made slaves of all of us. Why are you protecting humans?
Were you a slave?
No, luckily I wasn't, because our daddies and granddaddies fought them off.
I looked to the rest of the dwarves. Were any of you slaves?
They're looking at you. They seem to be on his side. They're like nodding along with him. When you ask him, were you slaves? One of them says, no, but I don't want to be either.
Well, that's what you are. That's what you're going to end up as if you let Tiamat rule.
Says the guy trying to make us slaves.
Alright. You guys can leave. You're free to leave.
We are leaving, son.
I assume the boat's no longer heading towards Morningstar.
Oh, yeah.
Well, when we get to shore, you can all hop off, and I'm taking the boat.
Deal.
All right. Have fun living under your dragon overlord.
You hear him say something under.
What was that?
You should just go below deck and meditate more.
Are you gonna make me?
He says you're gonna drive the ship and work the sails yourself.
I'll certainly try.
He takes a step towards you, fists on hips, and says, "Then try."
I'll do whatever it takes to stop Tiamat.
You're a nutbag.
And you are a moron.
He
Damn,
nods. He nods and says, "Yeah, I'm the moron that's gonna survive. You can still just swim after him if you want." He points off towards the starboard. He says, "There's somewhere over there."
I could. But a boat does a better job.
He just shakes his head.
I mean, Aldrin, I might have to disagree on that. You're pretty hardcore.
Yeah, it's just I can swim at 40 feet around. I'm pretty sure a boat moves faster than I can swim. Can I? Can I keep pace with a boat? Because if I can keep pace with a boat, then
Let's see here. Yeah, because your average sailing ship only moves a couple.
yeah.
But yeah, you could keep pace or go faster than at least some sailing vessels.
Sailing
Do-
vessels don't get exhaustion, though.
Correct.
Yeah. If do I think I can catch up to Morningstar?
Roll an insight check.
That is a total of an 11.
You're Aldrin. You could do everything. If you had to, you're pretty sure you could.
Do we have some spare boards?
Now,
Are you asking him?
I'll go below decks and check myself if we have spare boards.
There are some, Goinley.
I think 40 feet is your regular speed, right? It's not even dashing, right?
Yeah, that's not dashing.
I mean, if he's essentially going at walking swim speed, it might take him a while, especially considering that he can breathe underwater to actually get exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
You might be able to do it, honestly.
Yeah. What I'm gonna take a board to function as, a little bit more of a flotation device.
Just break one off, man.
And then and then as just I'm going to look him in the eye and fall off the back of the side of the boat and start swimming after Morningstar.
I mean,
He just yells out over the side, "Have fun dying, you nutbag!" As the ship slowly sails away.
I mean, I'm just now realizing Aldrin can breathe underwater and he has a faster swim speed than the fish people.
Yeah, I think Aladrin just became a sailor urban legend.
I am Aquaman.
I mean, essentially,
Wait till they see you again on the battlefield. That's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Like, he is kind of insane if you think about it. Like, he's more adapted to the water than the fish person race, and that's that's madness to me.
Yeah.
All right. What would you like?
Fish to be aquatic.
Huh?
But he doesn't have to to turn into a fish to be as aquatic.
Yeah. So what would you like to do, Aldrin?
I'm just gonna swim after Morningstar. Swim in the general
Okay.
direction.
All right. Make a, I guess maybe a survival check, something along those lines, to figure out where in the heck you are, or
Alright.
figure out which direction to even go.
Oh no, Molly's not there. He could just point the way while she rides on his back.
Yeah, like a navigation check, something along those lines.
Yeah. Alright.
Oh.
Yeah, I would accept basically any sort of wisdom or intelligence for the most part.
Yeah. Thankfully, I have proficiency in survival.
Would he? Yeah, I guess. Well, I was gonna say he might have proficiency in that. I don't know. He was a soldier, not a sailor, though, right?
Yeah.
But he has spent a lot of time on ships, and he has proficiency in, ships and sailing and such.
So that would be a total of a 21.
That's pretty darn good. Assuming that they're staying on the same sort of heading, you can start going that way and just see what happens.
Yeah. I'll start heading that way.
Okay, you start heading that way.
This way, they'll also never see you coming.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Never. Anyway.
Unless Tiamat's sleeping underneath a boat and just latched on.
Probably just riding in human form on a boat would be my guess.
Probably. So, in terms of just sort of swimming along, do you want to just keep swimming?
Just keep swimming,
Oh,
swimming.
yeah, I'll just keep swimming until I see a ship. I'm not going to really push myself.
Okay.
But once I see a ship, I'm going to beeline straight for it as fast as I can.
Got it. All right. So back at the sort of royal headquarters, or the royal guard headquarters, Fion, you have just been brought in. Arini is taken towards the castle, not towards the guard headquarters, and it's basically just you and a whole bunch of guards. What would you like to? Oh, and of course Zilra. And what would you like to do? They are basically taking you into sort of an interrogation room. You would think there's a chair and a table, and the usual.
I mean, so they've just have they taken my weapons or anything like that? So they've just sat me down?
No, they didn't take anything. They just brought you in and put you in the room, and that was it. Like, it's just a barren, otherwise empty room. There is a window, although it does seem to be rather secured. It's glassed and barred, and there are some slow-burning, like incense-style torches. It seems like they've been freshly lit for this. They've only been going for a few minutes. But yeah, here you are. They didn't take anything from you.
I'll just wait patiently for what I'm assuming is my interrogation.
All right. About 20 minutes go by. Still nothing. After about 25 minutes, you hear some yelling that you're pretty sure is Zilra. But it's just, goes away as quickly as it came. Oromis, you still just chilling out naked in your cell?
There's nothing else I can do.
Just curious. I was just wondering if there's anything you wanted to do.
I mean, I can do squats, make my booty look good before the execution, but
All right.
Why exert myself?
Just curious. Molly Mort, you're able. What would you like to do?
I'm going to, huh? I'm definitely following the whole crowd
Mm-hmm.
to the building. Is Real following me by chance? Can I tell?
At a distance, presumably.
All right. And I am going to follow the group up until the front door.
Okay, you do so. What would you like to do at the front door?
Are there guards there?
Yes. Basically, as the whole procession sort of moves in, how close were you following? Like really, like on their heels, close, or?
Oh, no. Like a good distance. Like I only came up to the door as they were finishing coming in.
Okay. As they go in, um, essentially there are still guards that are outside, and they close the door, and you can see one of them. He kind of smacks the paving stones with the butt of his kind of a spear, and scat, get out of here! Hey, hey!
She's
Turn
absolutely
into a tiger.
what, Lee?
Turn
Oh
into a
God.
tiger.
I still didn't catch that.
Turn into a tiger. Jump on him.
I could, but that would make an awful lot of fuss.
I'm just joking. He says shoe and you turn from a cat to a tiger. I just find that hilarious.
That would be pretty funny.
Okay, I'll stop. I'll stop. I'll go back to my hole.
I am going to again bristle and hiss at him and bat in his direction, and then I'm gonna try to slip past.
In the closed doors.
Oh, the door is closed. Oh no. Okay, so I guess I'll not be right by the doors, but I will lurk.
Okay. You lurk by the doors.
Not by the doors, but scouting around a little bit, getting a good feel for the place.
Okay. The building itself, as I said, is very. Excuse me. Sorry, don't know why that happened. Sort of a low, sprawling out building of various different styles and constructions, and uh, you imagine it's probably quite a maze inside, and it sits kind of. It's so there's these large walls, or not too large really, but relatively large, mostly stone walls that go around the sort of very center of the city. And inside of here are the two large towers. These original walls were originally the very edges of the farm that made up the original Hope. And as the city got bigger, they built several more walls going onto the outside. And in fact, they are to this day building another line of walls. But within here, what used to be large fields have been turned into, in some places, gardens, but in other places are very wide open courtyards. And this one is in one of those wide open courtyards that uh, essentially kind of the front gate as you enter into this section. If you veer off a bit to the left, it'll take you to the primary building, which is the sort of heart of stone. And if you veer off a little bit to the right, it'll take you to this sprawling building. And if you go past both of those, some distance will be the second royal building that is mostly used for storage. So from your scouting, as you look around, you can see that there's not a lot of places to hide. That if anyone is on rooftops, there's a lot of visibility for them. and that in terms of scouting, there seems to only be one exit from this building, excluding a variety of small windows that seem to be completely covered. It's not something that you would be able to get in with breaking, but you would be small enough to get in. But someone like Fion would never be small enough to get in or out of these windows. Anyway, would beyond that information, would you be looking for anything else?
I would want to try to get to see inside a little bit.
Okay, make let's go with an acrobatics check at advantage for the cat to do cat stuff. See if she can jump up and look into one of these windows.
Not good.
Even with advantage?
Yeah.
What'd you roll?
Well,
Okay.
6.
12?
6.
Oh, 6. Okay, not a high number. You go around and you look for windows that have light, and you're able to jump up into a couple of them, and it seems to be mostly common rooms. You don't really see anything too spectacular. It looks like essentially just a bunch of desks, like a boring police office, essentially. Um, but you do see another one that has a couple of windows that have light in them. But unfortunately, try as you do, there's just nothing really that gives you good purchase or doesn't give you anything to claw into. It's just boring, smooth stone, and it's so high you just can't jump up to be able to look through those windows. But beyond that, there's not a lot to really see.
Question.
Yeah.
From seeing, in the doorway or anything, can I have an idea of how thick these walls are? And I'm assuming they're stone?
Some of them are stone, some of them are wood, and in terms of their size, it's really tough to tell. I mean, there are some that are brick, some that are cut stone, some of them are, they look to be some sort of uh, timbered variety with infill of some kind of plaster. Like it looks to be several different styles. It looks to be that over the possibly hundreds of years, well, not so much hundreds, but over the generations that this building has been here, anytime they needed something, they would just knock down a wall and build a new room and just keep doing that with whatever materials or building styles popular or on hand. In
Okay.
terms of thickness of the walls, it's tough to tell. Several of them do appear to be very sturdy.
Can I get into the storage shed?
The large secondary castle, basically the way that you all have snuck in a couple of times. That one.
I suppose so.
Well, just essentially as a reminder, essentially two large circular, almost like stacked donuts castles, and they have a tunnel that goes between them in the basements and a bunker in between where the tunnels meet. Do you mean that building, that one for storage? It's like two identical castle towers.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you can. Well, unfortunately, you can get to it, but in terms of getting in as a cat, it's a little trickier.
Alright, then I guess I'll just look for somewhere within range, within eyesight of the where Fion was brought in, and I will try to hide.
Okay. Um. Yeah, I mean, you can. It's dark. You can find a small corner to hide in within, so that you can watch that front door, no problem.
Small corner as in gnome size or as in cat size?
Cat size. In terms of gnome size, you have plenty of room. The bigger the object, the more difficult it is to hide in the open. Like I said, this is an empty courtyard. They seem to have done it possibly for security's sake. There's not a lot to hide behind. There's not a lot there. You can hide in certain areas of along the edges of the building, but you won't be able to see the front door. But you can sort of hide along the edges of the wall that are, enough shadow on the dark ground where a cat is easily overlooked.
Yeah, I'll hide against the wall even if I can't see the door, if I can stay hidden there as a gnome. And especially with my hood up, I'm gonna poof into a gnome and put my hood up.
I could have sworn you said poop into it. No.
Close enough.
Said poof.
All right. Go ahead and make a stealth check with advantage.
That's only a 9.
Okay. All right. You're not having good luck with these dice. Advantage twice, and you rolled a 6 and a 9.
I chose a different die because of that.
Ah, well, it happens. So, Fion, you've been in this room for about 30 minutes now. What you doing?
I've probably, if it's been 30 minutes, I've probably just, smoking a cigar, waiting patiently.
All right. And there's, of course, no ventilation. You're pretty thoroughly hotboxing it in there, basically.
Yeah, that's fine.
Soon enough, the door opens, and the fellow comes in and kind of coughs a little bit. How's that cigar coming?
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, he closes the door. And he says, "Oh, that's good. That's good. Sorry to make you wait so I just wanted to be sure. I just wanted to ask you again, just because people remember stuff and forget stuff. You never know. I just wanted to know, what time did you go hunting today?"
I left in the morning. I didn't check a specific time. I just somewhere around sunrise.
He nods and he says, "All right, all right. Where were you going to hunt?"
Don't really know. Haven't spent a whole lot of time in the woods around here, but I like to hunt, so I figured I'd see what's out there.
Oh, that's good. Did you get anything?
Fortunately, no. Or excuse me, rather, unfortunately.
Where did you go? Where did you hunt?
You know that little fishing village?
He nods.
Yeah, I just went, looking around in the woods surrounding that village.
He nods again. Says, "Okay, okay, okay. Did you go with anyone else?"
No, it was just me.
All right, all right. And you came back. You said around sunset.
No, it wasn't around sunset, I don't think. About an hour or two before Oromis left.
Ah, okay. My mistake. My mistake. And he scratches his forehead a bit. He says, let's see. Then your friend Oromis went out for a walk, and he likes to go on roofs for some reason."
He says he looks at the stars, it helps to clear his head.
He nods. He says, "All right, all right. So, like I said, for whatever reason, some people think they saw you today, or someone like you, and we just want to make sure it wasn't you, and then you can get home okay. All right?
Alright.
All right, good. All right, let's go." And he opens the door, and smoke pours out.
I put the cigar out on the table and just leave it there and follow him.
Put it out on the table?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm doing everything I can to show him that I'm in control of this situation, or at least that I think I am.
That's fine. You step out, and you can see there's a couple of guards, and it looks to be a civilian, essentially, some individual, and they're standing around and looking at you. And he looks to you and he says, "You recognize any of these people?
No, sir.
Never seen any of them?"
I mean, not to my remembrance, no.
No offense, but you humans do all look pretty similar.
He nods and he says, "How about you folks? You ever seen this guy before?" And of course, they nod. And they say, "Is this the fellow that was outside of your house?" And the civilian nods. And he says, "Is this the fellow that assaulted the guard?" And the other guard nods. And he says, "Are you sure?" And they both nod. And he looks at you, Fion, and he says, "Why do they think that they saw you tonight?"
Because I'm different. I've faced this everywhere I've been. Somebody sees me once, something goes wrong. Could be miles, in the other direction, but they saw me, 7 foot tall, covered in scars. I have a tattoo. They assume that I'm doing something wrong.
They nod a bit and they say, "Okay, so you're saying to me that they're lying?"
Not necessarily. They might just be assuming. I might have, assumed that because I am the way I am, I did something wrong. I don't know what they're saying. I just know I didn't do what they're saying I did.
Just to be clear, you were there, right?
I was actually there, yes.
Yeah, he was.
I don't know. I'm really confused with the angle you're going at here. I don't know what angle you're trying to do.
Yeah, the one-eyed man. He nods and he says, "All right, all right. I think you're gonna have to surrender your weapons."
Yes, sir. You want me to do that here, or are we going to walk to another room? What?
He points to the ground and says, "Slowly, if you would."
Yes, sir. And I slowly remove my weapons. All of them. I don't
Okay.
try to hide anything.
Okay. And he says, "Is there anything else?"
I pat myself down. No, that should be it.
He nods. And he thanks the civilian and the guard, and he says that they can leave. And the rest of the guards essentially are continuing to watch. And he says if they would be so kind as to take you to a holding cell. And he says, "Trial will be in the morning. Probably won't take long. Don't worry about it."
Gotcha.
And they, rather, I should say, escort you, and you are taken into a long torchlit hallway with a bunch of cells along the left side. You pass the first one; it's empty. You come to the second one. There's a naked Oromis in it, and they continue to take you to the third one and open the door to let you in.
I'll step in.
All right. They lock the door.
Before we go on, can I just make sure I understand the situation correctly?
Sure.
Okay, so essentially what happened is I know where Fiona was, I think. Essentially, somebody came out of their house after Ormus fell on top of their house, but Ormus was disguised as the guard, so they can't say. So Fiona could say, "Hey, I didn't know who that was," but they definitely saw him at the scene, right? Like he was there. He didn't assault anybody like they're claiming, but he was definitely there.
They identified him as being there. Yeah.
Okay.
None of them actually came out though.
Well, the person that lived in the home and he saw someone that was unusual. He claimed that Fion had landed on his house.
Yes.
And then several guards, them being quickly on alert, came to the sound of the screaming, and they found a dazed Oromis and Fion. And the guard assumed that Fion had assaulted the guard, and Fion disappeared himself.
So Ormus was there.
The guard
but
being
besides
me.
the guard, Fion was also there, but he technically nobody actually saw him do anything. He was just there, and we know he was there.
Also, by this time, they know that it wasn't actually a guard, it was Ormus.
Correct.
Right. Fion may not could at least say that he didn't see Ormus there. Technically he might not have known that was Ormus.
Yeah, but Fion is insisting that he was not out when he was, but whether or not that can be proven is tricky. But from the other standpoint of it is, Oromus killed 2 people and said, "Don't worry, this other guy will collaborate." And this guy was seemingly conspiring with Oromus when he was captured. They were together, and now he's lying about it. So
Yeah.
it's enough that he's gonna bring him in.
I get that much, but I'm just trying to nail down that they definitely have eyewitness testimony that he was there.
Almost certainly.
Okay.
But Fion is basically claiming racial profiling.
I get that, but he stands out, and he was definitely there.
Yep.
Okay, I'm just want to get the facts out because it has been a while, and these get really stretched out over weeks and weeks. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
But yes, those are indeed the act fact and the possibly known facts.
Okay. I still think that you could easily claim, that you were just walking by and you didn't see Ormus, you saw a guard. I don't know. I think there's a way we could get through with just plausible deniability.
Well,
Maybe.
part of the issue is that they're giving conflicting stories. But
yeah, that's what
yeah, but we'll see. So, Fion, you're in a jail cell. You have everything except your weapons. You're in a cell next door to a naked Ormus. Ormus, you may or may not have seen Fion coming in. Probably did. You all seem to be locked in a room alone. What would you all like to do, if anything?
I'm just gonna stay quiet.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he's in a room with Ormus?
Yeah, there's a hallway that has 5 isolated cells, each one sort of built in. They're cubbies of stone walls, essentially, and stone floor ceiling, with one metal bar wall, essentially, with a gate. Very typical sort of jail cell. And the first one was empty. The second one has Ormus in it, and the third one now has Fion in it. And the guards walked out again.
Interesting.
Would you like to say or do anything, Fion?
No, I don't really feel like there's anything to say. I mean,
All right.
You could always say, "Damn it, Ormus." What did you do? No, I'm just kidding. Oh no, you rolled bad. Fuck.
So, Mollymort, how long do you want to wait?
Well, my intention was not to wait around, but to get in a discreet place and pull out the Eye of Ashad to see if I could see any glowy magic behind the wall.
Okay. As you do so, you do not see anything magical behind the walls. In fact, if you take a sort of a large sweep, the only magic that you can see, besides anything that you brought, is some writing above the doorway to the royal palace, essentially. But beyond that, nothing is magical that you
What's the writing say? Can I read it? What language is it?
can. Draconic.
Nope, can't read that.
Womp womp. But anyway, yeah, that is what you see. Oh, and of course, more and more stars disappearing, but you all got other problems.
Well, I can't really do much of anything, so I'm going to sit down and hug my knees and wait to see if I can think of anything or if anything happens.
Okay. I mean, are you, if you start to get sleepy, are you going to sleep there?
No.
What would you like to do? Nothing seems to happen for a very long time.
Do I have a clear path to get out of the courtyard area?
Sort of. I mean, you'll have to go through an open gate that guards are at, or you could go over the wall.
I would prefer to try to go over the wall.
Okay. Go ahead and attempt to climb over the wall. Make an athletics check.
Do I have to climb it with my ring of jumping?
No, you do not. You can most certainly hop your way out. It'll help you significantly to be able to get out and get out.
Heck yes. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go out and see if I can find Real again.
Okay. As you get away from it, you continue to look around. Similar to before, Real does present himself to you at a distance, quietly.
I will try to still be discreet and wave and try to sneak over to him.
He stands still.
I approach him. Okay, so I can't tell what's going on in there at all. I don't really know how to get in except for sneaking in as a bug or something. I really don't know what to do.
He shakes his head and says that essentially y'all have created quite a mess.
I know, I don't know what to do.
He says all we can do now is trust that they will do the right thing, which we know they won't.
Yeah, can I hang out here with you? Are you gonna stay around?
He says that he was thinking of going in to see if he could do anything. To help, of course.
Going in? You mean like past the gates and everything?
He nods.
Like just storm your way in?
Well, I would not call it storming, but maybe.
That doesn't seem like it would help the situation very much.
These are desperate times. I will do what I must.
I don't think times are that desperate. They can handle uh hopefully they'll be put together and can help each other. But please don't storm in until we really know that their like lives are on the line.
He nods and says, I give you my word.
Thank you. And she's gonna sit down again and kind of sulk.
All right, he'll start to walk away.
I guess she'll stay where she is.
All right, he disappears into the night.
Okay.
How many hours would you like to sit there and sulk?
She's gonna be there a while.
Okay. Is she within view of the front gate of the this inner wall?
I think she might have found a spot where she could, like, peek around a corner to see it or something.
Okay. It takes a little while, but soon you see a, oddly enough, regally sort of dressed, um, very standing, good posture, striding real, coming forward. Regal as hell, I'll say. And he presents himself to the guards and makes a flaring bow, very showy, almost bard-tastic in a way, and discusses with them. And you can see him gesturing wildly with one hand, the other underneath a colorful half cloak. It's very strange. But they do move aside, and he moves in and walks into the wall.
I must admit, he is a pretty spectacular man.
He really is, yeah. But you lose sight of him as he goes in.
Alright, I guess I'll just have to trust him on this.
Uh-huh. Do you want to just wait until he comes back, or wait until sunrise, or wait?
I'm gonna wait until sunrise before considering doing something.
Okay, yeah, it's about midnight. It's going to be a long one, but yeah, you can certainly wait. Let's see, Lee, if you're there. Oh,
I am. It just took me a second to unmute.
that's fine. So, you are still in this town. You had your fish and extra, or actually, you just had the extra eyeballs. You gave the fish away. You have a jar of pickled eyeballs, fish balls, and such. So,
Add that to your inventory, please.
yeah, make sure to write that down. Jar of pickled fish eyes. What would you like to do? Philbin is still kind of
Philbin
pouty.
hasn't left me yet.
Huh?
Philbin hasn't left me yet.
Eh,
Mentally, but not physically.
it's tough to tell.
Oh, well, I'd like to get the net now, please.
Okay, roll for net.
Okay, what kind of modifier is that?
It's a nine. It's a -3. No point to roll. Anyway, so you want the net. I can understand that. What would you like to do to get the net?
I'm gonna get up early, even earlier. About what time would the fishermen be leaving the dock? Do I think, based off of my own knowledge of?
Most of them begin to leave a little bit before sunrise.
Okay, then I will get up before sunrise and go out to the dock and wait.
Okay. It's very similar to the previous day, in that you see various fishermen come in, go out in boats, sometimes alone, sometimes with a couple of others as a team, and they head out. And you can see several, well, not several, but a couple of merchants seem to be preparing boxes for salting and preserving fish, presumably for transport to other places. And everyone just seems to be going about their day.
I'm gonna keep an eye out for Aiden, but I'm also going to, if somebody's passing by, I might stop them and inquire about Aiden.
There are certainly plenty of people there, and if you grab a passing fisherman on his way to a ship, you just ask him, what do you ask him about Aiden?
I'd ask him, do you know Aiden Marsden?
You can see
I'm
him.
looking for a Mr. Marsden.
You can see him. He kind of looks you up and down, almost a little suspiciously, and says, "Who's asking? You looking for him?"
Well, I'm asking. Yeah, I talked to him the other day, but he threw me out of his boat, and I just want to talk to him again. Well, he didn't throw me
Well,
out.
it sounds like he doesn't want to talk to you.
It's very important. I just don't think he realizes that it's important yet. I am a friend.
Mm-hmm. You look like a guard.
Do I? I'm not dressed in armor.
Yeah, but you got that sort of look.
Oh, I definitely have that sort of look.
Yeah.
I'm a guard from where I'm from.
I mean, you can definitely identify a military person even if they aren't in uniform.
Yeah.
Actually, Lee, when he says that, Lee says, "Thank you."
Is there a bounty?
Bounty, no.
He starts walking away.
He has a net.
He's just walking away.
Lee is very sad. He'll ask the next fisherman walking by. He's just gonna keep asking like everybody that passes close to him.
You just ask, "Do you know where Aiden Marsden is?"
Yeah, I need to talk to Aiden Marsden.
You can see a lot of them shaking their head. Don't know an Aiden.
All right, well, thank you.
Yeah.
I guess I continue to wait until most of the fishermen have gone out.
And they have done so.
All right, time to go for a swim.
All right, you go for a swim again.
Yeah. I swim real hard. I'm training. Should I make some
Indeed.
sort of check?
You can if you want. Make an athletics check.
All right.
Your exhaustion is fully removed now.
Yeah, I'm gonna push myself a little bit harder than I did yesterday because I feel like I'm feeling better again.
Mm-hmm.
If I roll real bad, I'm sure I'll get another point of exhaustion. So
Well, I was just going to ask that. Do you want to train to the point of exhaustion again?
I'm not going to train to the point of exhaustion, but I'm going to train to the point that I could risk it.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
Make any sense? Yeah.
Make a Constitution saving throw.
Really, a saving throw, not a check?
Oh, excuse me. Fine, a Constitution check.
Damn it! I was really hoping for the saving throw.
No, you corrected me. Thank you.
Well, I believe in playing the game right, so.
Okay. Spoken like a true narc.
I got a 9.
Alright, you take a point of exhaustion.
Shit.
Shouldn't have corrected him.
But yeah, you train, you swim to your store again. You're getting quite a tan. What do you want to do?
Well, it's time to go back for some breakfast.
Okay. When you get back, Philbin is just sitting there. He doesn't seem to be enjoying the food as well as previous time.
Philbin, I don't know if there's any reason for both of us to be here. Do you want to go back?
Not sure there's reason for either of us to. We should both go back.
I feel like I have a job here, so I'm going to stay, but I understand if you don't feel like what I'm doing is worth the time that I believe it is. And I think that you could be useful somewhere else. You've got great knowledge and great power, and I think that you can help the others more than you can help me right now, because if you don't see the value in what I'm doing, then there isn't really any point in you wasting your talents here with me.
And he says, I guess you're right about that. Then he gulps down the last of his drink and pockets one of the slightly green biscuits and starts to head for the door.
Take care of yourself out there, Philbin.
He turns around and he looks at you. And he says, Lee, you got a big heart. Sometimes you're an idiot. And he walks out.
He said only sometimes. That's better than usual.
So, would you like to do anything else, Lee?
Oh, I guess I'm gonna go back out and see if I see anybody I can ask about Aiden Marsden.
You start to recognize the same faces coming in and out. The same people, the same merchants, same fishermen.
Okay.
You don't see Aiden Marsden.
I'm definitely going to inquire about him again. Persistence, I suppose.
You continue to inquire. People are avoiding you like you want to talk.
I don't know how to change up my tactics to make myself more convincing out of character, so I don't know how to do it in character.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I just, I try to plead with them, I'm like, this is really important.
You can still see, occasionally they're just like, what's it about? Why are you looking for him?
The net that he has, it's really important for what's going on in the world.
You can see one of the fellas just like, I can sell you a net that's exactly the same.
It's not exactly the same. It's a special net.
Yeah, he rolls his eyes. Goes about his business.
Lee,
Yes.
I thought out of character, of course, but I'm guessing they would give you some information if you bribed them a bit.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I don't know. I guess so. I don't know if that would be something that Lee would think of.
And it might not be.
He's not the type to bribe.
Mm-hmm.
He might bribe them with, like, I'll help you with your work. Now that actually kind of makes sense.
But several times, essentially, they ask. You've had a couple of them ask if there's a bounty. You say no. They walk off. They ask if you're trying to get something from them. You say a net. They offer to sell you a net. Like it just continues to go in those sorts of relatively simple cycles.
I guess I'll start offering myself for work in exchange for information.
So you just start calling out, we'll help you if you know Aiden Mars.
Well, specifically the ones that seem to have information, the ones that I've interacted with a couple of times that have like actually stopped and talked to me, like they almost might like be willing to if I grease the wheels, but He's not one that really completely understands all of the like bribing them. So he's like, I'll help you with your fishing. Just please.
I look you up and down. You don't look like much of a fisherman.
I don't. Probably don't have a ton of experience, but I probably like understand some of the basics. And not to mention, I'm like very, very strong.
You know how to cast a net?
Yes, I do actually. I have proficiency with nets.
He says, all right, you come out with me, cast a net, I keep what we catch, then we'll see.
That sounds good to me. Just tell me when to meet you tomorrow.
He says, "Oh, sure, or whatever."
Well, I mean, like it's the evening now, so I guess I'll meet him tomorrow.
Yeah, he nods.
I'll be there first thing in the morning.
He nods. He goes about his business.
Okay. Well, that's all I've got. I guess I'll go swimming again.
Okay, he goes swimming again. Make another check at disadvantage.
Do what?
Make another check at disadvantage.
Okay.
This entire time, you look sunburnt and tired, and like you don't look
Oh wait,
appealing.
I already take a level of exhaustion.
Yeah, you already took a level of exhaustion.
Oh, I'm not going to swim again if I already took a level of exhaustion.
Okay, fine.
I mean that's kind of obvious. I just didn't realize I'd already taken one.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
I was
So what do you do
wondering why I
instead?
had disadvantage. I guess I'm gonna go back and rest.
Okay, you go back and rest. So, Fion and Ormus alike. Actually, Ormus, did you trance at this night, or do you what do you do?
Oh yeah, the whole time I've been in a meditation.
Okay, you have a long meditation. Eventually, the torches burn out, and it just leaves you in the dark, and nobody comes to refresh them.
Or give him pants.
Huh?
Or give him pants.
Or give him pants. Yeah. And you can see that eventually, after several hours, eventually after several hours, someone does arrive, and the door opens, and the shaft of light slices through the hallway, and you can hear several guards as they come forward. Theon, this may or may not wake you up. It seems to be morning. Molly Mort, outside, how long did you wait? Did you wait till morning? You did see. Um, Actually, no, you did not see Rio leave.
All right. All the more reason for me to stay.
Okay. Do you stay till morning?
Yes.
Okay. You stay till morning. Take a level of exhaustion. You just stood there all night, basically, or you weren't able to get a long rest.
Okay.
All right. You could hear commotion as it starts to get bright in the day, and morning starts. It's probably about 8:30 or so. You can hear some sounds like hammers, stuff being moved. You hear the occasional shout in some direction, and you can see as people are starting to get a little bit more active. There's some hustle in the street, and you can see quite a few people that are starting to move into the courtyard.
I feel like Molly would know. Is an event being organized? Molly would
It's
know if an event is being organized.
it seems like an event is being organized and is taking place.
All right, Molly will kind of try to blend in with the crowd, I guess.
Okay, yeah, you can blend in with the crowd and make your way in toward sort of enter the inner walls of Hope. And when you come in, it seems that in the courtyard, they have erected, there's only really one word for it, gallows, essentially. Um, they've put them up. There are two ropes that are already hanging, one much higher up than the others. And you can see that a glorious, gleaming chair has been put onto a kind of a dais. There are several chairs laid out that are less glorious. And there are quite a few people coming in along, filing the way in along ropes that are suspended by, stanchions and stands. So they seem to have like a rope line essentially. And quite a few people are coming in and they're talking amongst themselves. You can hear amongst the conversation, like, I wonder who it is. I wonder what it is. Looks like it's going to be a tall fella, as one points to the rope. Um, and, another one, of course, saying, I always love a good ex. And anyway, that's happening. Blending into the crowd.
Yeah, I'm gonna blend in with the crowd. Try to stay just behind the front of it.
Okay. You stay amongst the crowd and stay there quietly. As I said, the rest of you hear these several guards coming in, Fion and Oromis, and the gates are opened. First Oromis's and then Fion's. Oromis, essentially just a robe, is held out for you to move into. More like a large poncho, basically. And Fion, they have the others. They don't say anything. They just come in and open the doors.
Look out.
Yeah, I'll walk out and look over at Oramus and say, I guess it's come to this.
Okay. You are led towards separate interrogation rooms and are set down. And Oramus first, the one-eyed man, comes to you, and he doesn't even sit down, and he says, "We're getting kind of busy, a lot going on. Hope you can understand. I just, real quick, there's nothing else you want to add? Nothing else you want to say? Nothing else you want to tell me, right?"
Oh, is this me?
That's
Okay.
No, that's Ormus.
No, that's
Okay.
me. I'm just not gonna say anything.
Is the
Like-
big fella your friend?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The big one. I'm sure you saw him. You must have saw him. You walked in.
The guy who's literally blue.
Literally.
I said he had blue hair, not that you think he was blue. You just bring a poor innocent man in? I'm just kidding.
Oh, so that's not your friend.
No, I'm just fucking with you. Oh my god. Yeah, I know.
All right. Did you? He said you went for a walk with him yesterday. Where'd you go for the walk?
He didn't go with me for a walk.
He
went-
didn't.
No, he
Then why did he
That's
say
his
that
own
he
thing.
went with you with a walk?
fuck if I know.
Ah,
I go in my direction, he goes in his direction.
so he went with a walk somewhere else.
Probably doing his own thing. I don't know if you've noticed, but he's kind of a hunter.
Because he said that he went for a walk too. I assume that you went on a walk together.
Well, you know what they say about assuming, right? Makes an ass out of you and me.
All right. So you saw him go on a walk with someone else or somewhere else. You have no idea where he went.
But I told you, he does his own thing. He probably went out hunting.
All right. So you saw him go on another way, and you didn't see him at all last night till he came in.
Exactly.
All right. All right. And why were you on the roof again?
I already told you. Ever since I was a little kid, that's how I would calm my mind.
All right. All right. Well, we'll get this taken care of soon. And he leaves the room. And he goes to you, Fion. And he says, sorry. I know it took too long. We really busy morning. Anything more you want to say? Anything you want to tell me? Anything you think I should know that might make your situation better?
No, not that I can think of.
He nods. Says, all right. Was that your friend? Did you look at him?
When I walked past, I glanced. Yeah, it looked like him.
All right. Did y'all talk last night?
No. Not at all last night.
That's strange. You weren't worried about him or wondering why you got called in about all this?
No, I know that there's nothing behind this. I'm not lying. I doubt he's lying. I don't see why we would be prosecuted if we've done nothing wrong.
Hmm. All right. All right. Fair enough. And he walks out. And soon enough, you all are escorted out, and several guards surrounding you, essentially, bringing you out, and along a rope pathway, leaving the building, and heading towards what you can recognize as gallows. And Mollymort, you can see as they are led out with guards. It looks like Oromis is in shackles and covered. Fion is not in shackles, and he's not even. He doesn't look like he has his weapons. But yeah, anyway, and y'all are taken towards these gallows, and they're go on.
I didn't get a long rest, but since I wasn't really doing anything, would it be reasonable to say I got a short rest at least?
Yes.
All right. Sorry, continue.
Okay. Y'all are led up onto the gallows and are put in ropes, put in the nooses, and you can see the people go on.
Before the nooses are put over our necks, fuck, I don't know if I should do this. I mean, oh God.
Literally, what do we have to lose at this point? I mean, it kind of seems like you either act or die now, so...
Yeah,
I'm just gonna call out, whatever happened to the trial? This isn't a trial.
He says, no, it is a...
This is not a trial.
Well,
This is a straight execution.
Well, no, it'll be an execution if you're found guilty. Yeah. But it's the trial.
This isn't a trial. Where's the judge?
This is a trial of guilty until proven innocent.
He says, the judge will be here soon enough. Just relax. Calm down. Do you allow yourselves to be put in the nooses?
I don't.
I know.
I cast Fog Cloud.
Okay. You cast Fog Cloud. Let me look at what is required for Fog.
It's verbal and semantic.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you cast Fog Cloud.
So I used it at second level. So there's 40 feet radius, and fuck. I hate this. I hate this so much because now we have to get out of town.
Well.
Yeah.
Oosh.
As soon as I cast it, I'll cast Misty Step to get myself 30 feet out.
Okay. Now, in terms of getting out, do you want to go into the crowd? Where do you want to be able to go?
Yeah.
What is your intention of where to go?
I'm going into the crowd. Yeah.
Okay. So you cast Fog Cloud, and then cast Misty Step.
Let me double check it to make sure it doesn't have any. Misty Step just has verbal, yeah. And Fog Cloud is an action. Misty Step is a bonus action. So turn economy, I should be able to do it, I believe.
Make an intelligence check.
Probably going to the crowd might not be the best idea.
What's my intelligence? +1. 19.
Okay. You're smart enough to know that the fog cloud will heavily obscure everything for a large radius.
Yes.
You will not be able to see where you want to go with Misty Step.
Can I do the inverse then, and Misty Step, and then cast Fog Cloud on the dais platform, whatever you want to call it?
Yeah, it would be well within range.
Yeah, then I will do that and hope that Oromis takes the opportunity.
Okay, so in terms of bamfing yourself, do you want to go into the crowd or towards the castle or back towards the jail? Where do you want to go? Basically, they've got this stage sort of set up closer to the towards the castle than anything, but it's still well and far away from the walls. You know, there's some spacing there.
Which direction would be the closest that I can gather to being able to run the fuck out of town?
Basically west, a little bit southwest, but west to southwest towards the crowd, because the crowd has been surging through the gates. The gates are no longer being manned by guards. They're just letting anyone in that can fit. You could put yourself into the crowd, and that would be closer to the gates, but then you would still be amongst the crowd. But that's better than being in a noose in some ways.
Yeah, I
But
will.
not in others.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say better than being in a noose in some way, but not in others.
Yeah, I will, yeah, I'll do that. Try and get to the gate.
Okay, you bamf towards the gate, and then immediately fog cloud behind you as the big, what is it, an 80-foot diameter sphere of...
It's just 40. When you cast a spell using the radius.
Well, it's a 40-foot radius, so yeah, an 80-foot diameter.
Oh, yeah.
Just a big, thick sphere of cloud just appears in a poof. Did you wait?
Massive.
Yeah. Did you wait until after Oromis was in the noose?
I would have done it before they put the nooses on us.
Okay, that's probably for the best. Molly Mort, all of a sudden, as you're watching your allies, you can see Fion disappear with a various flare of a spell, and then all of a sudden the area is obscured in cloud. You see this as well, Oromis.
And they're both verbal, so I, my native language is giant, so I probably just said a couple of words in giant and then bamf.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I assumed. That you just did that. And a little bit of, you bamped on the first one just from it being cool, and then from, with Misty Step, and then with the fog cloud, some motion, but she wouldn't necessarily have seen you from that. But Oromis, you probably would have seen him appear in the crowd having recognized a Misty Step spell.
I'm just gonna fuck. Bamf right behind him.
How?
Misty Step.
You can't see it.
I can see the fog cloud.
You can see the fog cloud, but you're already teleported in. You're already in the fog.
Yeah, the fog cloud creates its area as heavily obscured, so, unfortunately, the best you can do is run in a random direction. But that's better than being in a noose.
Yeah.
How high does it go?
You don't know. But when you look up, you just see gray. Dark gray all around you.
Alright, am I in shackles or ropes?
You're in shackles. And you have the panty presses on.
They're gonna hear me a mile away. They're gonna know exactly where I go.
And they're gonna try. So what would you like to do?
My legs are in shackles too, aren't they?
No.
No?
Just your... Yeah. No, your legs are not in shackles, just your hands.
Okay, I'm gonna make it taut as I can. That way they can't hear the jingling of the chains and just book it.
Okay. In terms of booking it towards where you thought the gate was, you know that you're on a raised gallows. Do you just jump off?
Yep.
Okay. That's not too difficult per se. Let's go with, in terms of navigating while blind, it's very... because I'm not quite sure what skills would apply to some of it. So let's go with maybe a perception or intelligence. Maybe try and remember where the edge of the stage is, because basically your whole world just went like you're effectively blind. You're probably wishing it was darkness instead.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can go for an intelligence to see if I can remember how many steps it is.
Go for it.
Not bad. 14.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to remember where the edge is, leap down, and you know that there's some sort of a gap before a rope line, and then after that, a big ass crowd. And you want to make a run for the rope line or for something else?
Do I remember where the rope line leads to? Go
You
straight to
know
the
that
cliff, right?
it's sort of basically it's just keeping them back from the windows. It just surrounds this area. If you
Were
were to
they
follow the rope line, it circle around a bit more, and basically you would just be encircled. Basically, the rope line gives a clear passage from the sort of guard hut uh, towards the gallows, and that's it. Like it allows people to be circled around, and it protects where the chairs are and everything. Just keeps the people back. So if you were to get to the rope line and run along the rope, it would lead you back to the guards or towards the palace, or basically nowhere you want to be necessarily.
If I can make it to my stuff, then I can get my components and get the fuck out.
If. What do you want to do? Quick.
Try and make it to the jail cells.
Okay. You get to the rope line and you start booking it left along it, knowing that that is hopefully going to lead you right to the door that you just pulled yourself out. Mollymort, you are blind in this crowd. You heard a shout of giant sort of behind you and to the left a little bit, right before the whole world went gray, and you are essentially in a terrible forest of panicked humans, the worst kind of forest. What would you like to do as they immediately go in mode and begin to stampede?
I'm not sure if this is a terrible or great or just
Fireball?
midway idea, but I'm going to turn into a direwolf and try to sniff out Ormus.
That is another way of doing it. Yeah, you can turn yourself into a dire wolf, and then all of a sudden the startled that's coming from around immediately turn into holy shit, and people there's a what the what, and anyway, but yeah, you can turn into a wolf, and let's see, it's an action to transform, right, or is it a bonus action?
I always forget.
It's an action unless you're circle of the moon.
Yonder, can I retcon a little bit and say, I know that this is made out of wood, right? The panty press?
Yeah. Yeah,
More or
it
less.
seems to be made of splints just wrapped around your head.
Eldritch Blast is verbal. I would like to Eldritch Blast and free my hands.
Let me see if it actually kind of how it. I'm thinking about it here. Let's see. I don't know. Like, do you want to target your hands?
Well,
pretty.
Made it canon in story that it shot out of his hand, right?
Yeah, it does.
It doesn't necessarily, but it's not. Doesn't necessarily come out of your hand. It just originates from the region. Like, it wouldn't necessarily automatically, like, because the issue is what happens if you glove? Does that make it last or does it ruin the glove? It originates from you, but I don't think it actually comes out of your hand. But I will allow you to target yourself. I'm perfectly fine with that.
Okay, yeah, I just want to target the actual panty press itself that's binding my hands and just kind of free them.
Okay, because you get 2 beams right now. You can just do 1 per hand. In fact,
Yeah.
I won't even give you the disadvantage that you would get from using a ranged attack close. So go ahead and make 2 ranged attacks. What effect you can have, and roll the damage for them too. Because it's not so much a matter of hitting them, because you'll certainly hit them, but it's a question of how effective those hits will be. But you will do damage even if they're not very effective. So roll 2 hits and roll 1d10 each, and see how that goes. Molly Mort, it took your action to transform, but I'll allow you to try and sniff him out a little bit. The issue is as a dire wolf, you have advantage, right, on checks made for perception for scent,
Hearing and smell.
hearing, and smell. Okay. Unfortunately, because there are so many people in the panic, it's very difficult to be able to detect it. So that would impose a disadvantage. But considering it all, I will basically, it'll neutralize it. So yeah, you can make a perception check to try and possibly sniff out Oromis.
11.
Okay. What kind of numbers did you get there, Oromis?
I rolled 9 out of 10, which brings it up to an 18 and a 19.
That was pretty good. What kind of damage?
10 plus my charisma, 5, 15.
Okay.
Actually, 15.
Okay. 15. One thing with the 15 especially, you don't really smell him, but you do hear him clearly invoke the typical words that he uses for Eldritch Blast as he attempts to do something. You're not sure it's Oromis. He could be freeing himself. He could be killing a child. You don't know. But that is distinctly him, and it's coming from not too far ahead, about where you thought the rope line. Unfortunately, Oromis, as you attempt to cast Eldritch Blast, your hands are held in such a way that you can't get off the somatic component to be able to fire it.
Okay.
Yeah, so as you get it all lined up, you're ready to do it, but you just can't. These things seem to be strongly inhibiting the somatic. Can't make the sort of universal sign language that is required for you to break the universe. But they are wood. You might be able to smash them on something. Fion, what would you like to do?
I will continue to, because I'm still within it a bit. I think 10 feet. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'll continue to run towards what I think is the direction of the gate.
Okay, you run with the crowd that is starting to push blindly, mostly. Are you concerned about knocking any of them down, or are you doing your thing?
Nah, I'm bulldozing at this point.
Nice. You're able to very easily. There's more screams occurring. You can hear from behind you something about a wolf. You don't know what that's about. Whatever. But
You might be able to guess that that's me.
there's a possibility.
I'm sure the thought crosses my mind.
Definitely. But you are able to soon enough break your way out of the and find yourself moving towards the gate, pushing past individuals. You don't see any guards at the gate. They're probably too busy, with everything inside the gates. They likely just brought in security with no one outside. You just want to keep on booking as fast as you can.
Yes, I will. I'll dash even. Use
Wonderful.
my action to
You
dash.
you dash and run as fast as you can, getting away. And inside, Ormus, having been very disappointed with not being able to smash these damn things with your Eldritch Blast, what would you like to do? You're along the gate, or rather along the rope line. You're still effectively blinded. You can hear all kinds of screams about a wolf. What would you like to do?
Still gonna try and go for that. I'm gonna go up until I can get a wall, and just try and smash my hands into it. See if I can't like rend this thing loose and pull it off.
Okay.
And you said it's bandages too, or
It seems like what they did is they just put, they essentially just put some splints. They just put stuff on your hand, some possibly even scrap wood, just so that it keeps your hands and fingers flat, and then wrapped bandages around them so that they would come off. And it essentially makes it so that you can't bend your fingers.
can I just rip it off with my teeth?
Yeah, you can try that if you want. You won't be able to really run while doing it, but you can be moving
It's hard
along
to
the
run while
rope.
blinded anyway. Oh yeah.
It is, but you can, the rope is a fairly decent guide, so
Yeah.
to speak. But you're able to find yourself, in fact, out of the fog soon enough. And you can see a couple of guards running full speed from where they were towards the sort of guard headquarters, straight at you.
I'm gonna run and go back.
Okay, go ahead.
I
You,
go, oh
you go
shit.
back. You go back into the
Yep.
fog. Nice.
Yep.
Go ahead and make a sleight of hand check at disadvantage to try and pull these bandages off with your teeth.
16. 16 total. I got a 16 and a 14 plus 2.
Okay, yeah, you're starting to get some of them off. You think that it might take you a little bit of time to get them off, but you're certain you'll be able to do it eventually. And all you gotta do is
I'm
just
just
get
gonna-
one freed, and the other one will be a lot easier.
Yeah, okay. I'm just gonna keep going in the opposite direction. I'm like, yep, nope, fuck that. I'm going up toward the gate.
Okay, well, towards the gate or the opposite direction? You were heading towards the police station essentially, because you wanted to get your
Opposite.
equipment.
Yeah,
Okay.
opposite direction. I said them coming towards me. I'm like, nope, not worth it. Fuck
Okay.
that.
So you start heading back towards the gallows.
To the direction of where I think the gate might be.
The gate is a right turn, and you can in fact see, well, sort of, you can see the people streaming towards it, and you can kind of see the beginnings of the gate. If you want to try and run that way.
I'm gonna basically skirt the edge of the fog and go that way.
Okay, Mollymort, you're within this fog. You heard Oromis attempt to do the blast. You heard probably a curse after that. What would you like to do?
I would like to pursue Ormus to try to find him.
Okay, in your pursuit of Oromis, and Oromis, you can see it too. As soon as you see the guard, you turn around, look at the fog, then turn slightly in between the two to see the gate, and you shuffle, or rather even hop over the rope line, and then all of a sudden a dire wolf comes out like right in front of you as you try to skirt the edge of the. What would you like to do, Mollymort?
Can I try to do a bite attack on the things on his hands?
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead and roll. In fact, hang on. Let me see. He is restrained. I think that might even get you advantage.
And I have no armor, so it's basically a flat roll.
Well, I'm guessing I had a disadvantage anyways because of exhaustion. That's how that works.
I think it's ability checks. Not. I don't know if it's attack rolls. Does anyone know?
It's not attack rolls for like another few levels. I think it's like level 3 that gives you disadvantage on attack rolls.
Yeah.
Oh, well, with the
so.
flat roll, you said then?
Pretty much, yeah. Like 10.
Well,
I have no armor.
you essentially make it against, and you do have advantage, and
I have advantage. Okay, that's what I was trying to ask.
yeah. And well, I will ask, Ormus, do you think you would react defensively to a dire wolf springing, or not so much springing, but stalking out of the fog and trying to bite your?
I jump, and I probably shit myself a little bit.
Okay, so we will still add your dexterity modifier to your defense,
which is 2.
Go ahead, Molly Mort.
Well, with advantage, that is 24.
Ah,
Oh yeah,
it's
roll damage.
even with my armor. Damn.
Eight.
8. That is more than sufficient. Yeah, you are able to grab on, basically munch. You hear some crunches. Ormus, you feel tremendous pain as you take, let's just call it 4 HP and 4 damage.
Oh,
but
cool.
you can feel that with the splints sort of broken, you can easily flick it off of at least one hand on your turn. So, Fion, what would you like to do?
My goal is to get out of town and into the woods.
Okay, you continue to run.
Yeah.
Ormus. Ormus, what would you like to do?
Flicking it off and then wrenching the other one off and then going.
Okay. I'll allow you as a bonus action to essentially flick one off, and then as your action to take the other off, if you so choose.
Yes, and then that'll
Okay.
help my movement.
Make another sleight of hand check to attempt to unravel this thing from you.
Damn, that was cocked. Stop rolling. 13.
Okay. You roll a 13. The crowd is go crazy. You're not quite able to get it off. You can see just over your shoulder that the guards that were chasing you are just about to get here. What would you like to do? You have a movement left.
Yes.
You book it with the crowd as quickly as you can. Molly Mort, you can see several guards were chasing Ormus, and they are here. What would you like to do?
Ormus, what speed are you moving at?
30.
Okay, so, can I put my nose under his butt and try to, get him onto my back?
Absolutely. No roll. You just do it. If he wants it, if he's allowing it. Because that's just.
My back's to her. I don't think that I would be able to, except for, oh.
Yeah, there's probably a oh. I will remind you at this point, and I'm sorry. Ormus is only wearing essentially so. Yeah.
Oh no.
Anyway, that happened.
It's dire
Hey,
circumstances right now.
if it helps, I'm a very clean elf.
Yeah.
A very clean elf that did sit in a prison cell all night too.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway,
I'll be okay. I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna
okay.
do my back.
I'm so sorry.
And I'm gonna run my full speed towards the gates.
All right, you're absolutely able to run your full speed towards the gates. You can hear lots of shouting from behind as the guards are trying to keep up. They're yelling, "Close the gates!" But you can see that there's no one there to even close the gates. Besides, there's a massive string of people trying to run out as best as they can, while everyone is basically freaking out. Maybe justified, maybe not. You never know. As a fog cloud continues to roll. So the fog cloud.
Around with the guy who is supposed to be hung on his back. By the way, my speed is 50 feet. How far am I from the gate?
You're not able to get there on this one, but you'll get there in the next.
Okay.
Yeah. In terms of distance, I figured it was somewhere in the neighborhood of about 80 feet.
Okay.
And you couldn't hit him in a full gallop. So, your action was essentially to grab him and put him on you.
That's entirely fair, yeah.
All right. So I'm assuming, Fion, you're going to just concentrate on this sucker.
Yeah, concentrate for duration, yeah.
Okay. Perfectly acceptable. Molly, you're able to escape and get out of the gates as people try to run out of your way. Let's see here. There are a couple of arrows. Fion. It looks like they were trying to be careful not to hit anyone else. And luckily, it seems like they didn't. Once you get out, what would you like to do? You don't see Fion. You don't see Real. You don't see anything. Just screaming people.
Who? Me?
Yeah, you and Oromis. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go?
Can I make a check to see if I can get a whiff of Fion?
Sure. Go ahead and make your check. But you don't get advantage again on this one because under normal circumstances you will, but because there are hundreds of people, this is exceptionally difficult.
$15.
Okay. You're able to get his distinctive scent. And you're able to see that it seems to go off towards the south direction that you know is also the fishing, et cetera, et cetera.
All right, I'm booking it that way.
Okay, you book it. Aldrin?
Yes.
You swam all day. You want to stop for a bit?
Yeah, I'll stop for a bit and rest on the board.
Okay. Now, in terms of resting on this board, you're a big, beefy dude with a whole bunch of weapons. This board ain't doing shit to keep you.
If it's not keeping me afloat, then if I look underwater, is there something that I can, I guess, anchor myself to so I don't drift too far away as I'm trancing?
Go ahead and make a perception check at disadvantage. It's very deep, murky water.
Yeah.
And it's dark. Mollymort?
I would just like to ask, what direction can he tell is the water flow going? Because if it's going towards Morningstar, then maybe it's just...
Yeah.
Well, if you want, you can make a perception check in addition to the one you just made, but not at disadvantage, just to be able to get an idea of current.
So the first perception check is a total of a 7.
Okay.
And then the second one to see if it's the current is helping or hurting me is an 18.
All right. As you look down, you just see nothing but dark water. You don't even know how deep it goes. And as you sort of look around for the current, you're pretty darn sure that it could be worse, but it's certainly not going exactly in the heading that Morningstar. It's going several degrees off.
But if I let it take me, I could recorrect when I, stop my trance.
Theoretically, yeah. But of course, navigating while swimming with no
Yeah.
landmarks and guiding by the sun in an area that you're unfamiliar with.
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't exactly your. You get my drift.
Yeah. I'm just gonna hope for the best and start trancing while floating.
Okay. You begin trancing while floating, and after several hours, I'll add to. Like, are you looking around? Are you trying to use any sort of an idea of navigation? Or are you just trying to get the trance hand?
Um, yeah, I'm just trying to get it finished as quickly as I can.
Okay. You're being out here in the absolute utter nothingness. There is absolutely nothing. There is no city light that can pollute it. After several hours, there is nothing but the light from
Mhm.
above. And let me check the date. So we are in the period because it is the 14th day of the third month. Essentially this is like it's almost like an empty moon.
Hmm.
As you look up, there's just nothing but stars, except for, of course, the area where there is none, and it is expanded more. You're able to watch it go across the sky if you want, but you got some meditating to do and some focus to do as you're trying to relax the best you can.
Okay.
It takes a little bit longer than normal because this is, of course, not a comfortable situation. But
Yeah.
after several hours, and you're not sure how many, it's still dark. But you have finished your trip. You're able
Uh,
to use the stars to navigate a little bit better, and you're pretty sure you can find a heading still.
I'm gonna keep chasing down Morningstar.
Okay. You keep going and just keep swimming, as many have said before.
Yeah.
Uh, and as you continue to swim, you hear a familiar voice of Philbin, and you can just see the silhouette of a lobster flying beside you. And he says, "What the hell are we doing? Where are we?
Why'd you teleport to me?
I thought you were on a boat."
They kicked me off.
He just tilts his head and just shakes it, and then just face. All right,
You
we will come back to that next week. That could have been a lot worse, I guess. But
Yeah.
yeah, he. So everyone able to make it next week?
Yes.
yeah.
Hopefully.
The
Yeah, should be
fourth.
able to.
Yeah.
Cool. So you guys didn't die yet. Good
Yeah.
job.
Yet being the key word,
Don't
all of
worry
my
about it.
weapons, including the Bow of Whispers, is now in that fucking guard tower.
uh,
And we
You
don't
know-
even know where Rail is, so he probably went to go get the bone dipped.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
I feel
Mm.
bad for Arini.
Yeah.
yeah,
You know,
she's still in there.
oh my God.
It's hard to imagine how this could have gone any worse.